I will come back to story, but let's go across live to the MEA press conference.
The ongoing official visit of Chancellor of Germany. We also have with us Additional Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, Shri Piyush Srivastava. With that, I'll request Foreign Secretary to make his opening remarks, after which we'll take some questions. Please do bear with us. Please, when we open the floor, please raise your hand, and thereafter we'll ask you to put forth your question. So with that, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Randhir. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining this briefing. As you are all aware, the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency Friedrich Merz, is on his first official visit to India after taking over as Chancellor. Notably, this is also his first visit to Asia after taking office last year. He arrived in Ahmedabad very early this morning, around 2 o'clock in the morning, and was warmly received at the airport by the Honorable Governor, the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, and the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister. The Chancellor is accompanied by a high-powered official delegation as well as a large business delegation, which reflects the importance that both sides place on the trade, business and investment side of the relationship. The timing of this visit is also particularly significant. It's taking place in the Silver Jubilee year, 25 years after the establishment of the strategic partnership between India and Germany. And it is also taking place in the Platinum Jubilee year, the 75th year after the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and the Federal Republic of Germany. And the visit, therefore, provides an opportunity to take stock of this very rich, very important partnership, and more importantly, to set an ambitious agenda and target for the future. The Chancellor had a busy program on the first day of the visit. In fact, he's still in the process of completing his engagements for the day. This morning, he was welcomed by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi at Sabarmati Ashram. The two leaders visited the ashram and paid tribute to the memory of Mahatma Gandhi. They visited Hriday Kunj, where the Chancellor was given a demonstration of the charkha. And thereafter, at the Sabarmati riverfront, Chancellor Merz and Prime Minister Modi participated in the famous kite festival of Ahmedabad, which sees participants and visitors from around the world. Following that, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister held wide-ranging discussions in restricted as well as delegation-level formats, covering the entire spectrum of the bilateral relationship, as well as regional and global developments. And let me just give you a flavor of the discussions that took place between the two leaders. The Chancellor, for instance, remarked on the changing world order, the instability that global order is facing, and why in this context it is ever more important for India and Germany to take their relationship to a new level and to do more, to do much more, in fact, in his words. And in this context, he laid particular emphasis on Germany's very strong support for the early conclusion of the India-EU FTA. As you are all aware, in another fortnight's time, the EC President and the European Council President both will be visiting New Delhi, where we hope to take these discussions forward towards a favorable conclusion. Chancellor Merz also emphasized repeatedly the strategic approach that Germany was bringing to its relationship with India, that it regarded the relationship with India as an asset in these uncertain times. And in particular, again, there was a considerable amount of discussion on the defense side of the relationship, which is seeing good and very promising progress. One of the things that has been a high point in the relationship in recent years is the people-to-people relationship. The growing Indian expatriate community in Germany, including students. There are today nearly 60,000 students in Germany and nearly 300,000 people of Indian origin in Germany, a number that has grown quite significantly in just the last half a dozen years or so. And it was heartening to hear Chancellor Merz extend a hearty welcome to this expatriate community, to Indian students, to skilled workers from India, given the fact that they complement the needs that German society, German business, and the German economy have at this point in time. And this is now important enough for the German authorities to consider putting dedicated institutional arrangements in place to look at issues related to the community. As you are aware, the two leaders also addressed the CEOs Forum after their talks, and there too, again, the Chancellor emphasized that it was not a coincidence that India was his first destination in Asia after taking over as Chancellor. He referred to the fact that India and Germany share a relationship of long-standing trust, of political principles and democratic institutions, and that in these times it was particularly important to strengthen resilience, to protect our respective economic bases, especially against dangerous one-sided dependency on external actors. And therefore, it was important to diversify our supply chains, increase the linkages that we have between our trade, business, and investment communities. And testimony of that was the very strong business delegation that was accompanying him. In his remarks, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi pointed to the strong growth that had taken place in trade between India and Germany, which has now crossed nearly $51 billion. And that represents a quarter of all of India's trade with the European Union. And the Honorable Prime Minister emphasized on the need to draw up a vision for taking this development forward. He also referred to the trend that we are seeing in terms of control and weaponization of technologies, and therefore the need for India and Germany to cooperate in this regard. And therefore some of the agreements that are being or that were signed during this visit and announced during this visit, such as those related to semiconductors, to critical minerals, etc., were also referred to by the Prime Minister. A special mention was also made by the Prime Minister of the flagship India-Germany Cooperation Program, the Green and Sustainable Development Program, under which Germany extends assistance to green energy infrastructure programs in India. And I should say that two of those programs are in this state itself, in the form of the assistance that has been extended to the Ahmedabad Metro and to the Surat Metro project. In addition, the Prime Minister also welcomed the ongoing cooperation between India and Germany on green hydrogen, as well as the agreement that was signed, again announced during this visit, on the offtake of green ammonia from an Indian company by a German company. Prime Minister also referred, in keeping with the focus on technology cooperation between the two countries, on the need to expand our defense cooperation, the potential that was there for space cooperation. Germany has recently set up a dedicated ministry for research and development in space, so that offers new opportunities, and how science and technology has been an area of long-standing engagement between India and Germany. And finally, as did the Chancellor, the Prime Minister as well emphasized on the Indian expatriate community in Germany as a constructive force, as one that brought in complementarity between Indian skills and German manufacturing, and the fact that Germany was increasingly emerging as a preferred education destination for Indian students. So these were amongst the key subjects that the leaders touched on. As I said, the two sides also exchanged a number of important agreements and understandings. This has been a very outcome-rich visit. 19 MOUs were signed and exchanged during this visit, and a further 8 announcements related to different areas and understandings were made. So total of about 27 outcomes during this very, very short visit that is taking place. A list of these announcements, these agreements and undertakings will be available on our website very soon after this briefing, together with the joint statement that has also been released by the two sides on the occasion of this visit. The Chancellor is currently visiting the world-famous Adlej Stepwell in Ahmedabad, and he will tomorrow travel to Bengaluru, where he will visit the premises of the German company Bosch and the Center for Nanoscience and Engineering at the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. Again, these engagements highlight the strong technology, innovation and industry linkages between the two countries. I'll just refer briefly to some of the key outcomes of the visit. I won't go through all of them. As I said, there are about 27 elements in this, but mainly I would refer and highlight the joint declaration of intent for the India-Germany CEOs Forum and the holding of the CEOs Forum meeting. There were understandings adopted in the areas of semiconductors, critical minerals, telecommunications, artificial intelligence, and the digital domain. The two sides also launched a new bilateral R&D program in bioeconomy and concluded an MOU in traditional medicine between the All India Institute of Ayurveda and the Sharita University. They also, as I said, witnessed the announcement of an offtake agreement between AM Green and Uniper Global Commodities for the initial supply of 125 kilotons of green ammonia per annum, scaling up to over 500 kilotons per annum over 15 years to Germany. The two leaders have also announced their intention to develop a defense industrial cooperation roadmap, and insofar as the key area of mobility, education and skilling is concerned, in this too there are some important understandings that were reached, notably the adoption of the higher education roadmap. An MOU was also signed between the German Maritime Museum in Bremerhaven and the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal. There is, as you can see, a growing convergence between India and Germany, not just on these important bilateral matters, but also on issues in the international arena. Both the leaders had the opportunity to discuss at length regional and global issues of mutual interest, including the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the situation in West Asia, developments in the Indo-Pacific, especially where the two countries are closely collaborating. So in conclusion, I would say that Chancellor Merz's visit, though short, has imparted strong momentum to the India-Germany strategic partnership across all of its key pillars. As Prime Minister Modi noted, in an uncertain global environment, both India and Germany value reliable and trusted partnerships, and we are sure that the outcomes of this visit would reinforce the depth, ambition, and long-term vision of our partnership for shared prosperity and stability. The Chancellor extended an invitation to Prime Minister Modi for the regular institutional mechanism that exists at the highest level between the two leaders, which is the India-Germany Intergovernmental Cooperation mechanism, which will be held this year in Berlin, in Germany, and the Prime Minister said that he looked forward to visiting Germany for that purpose. So let me stop here, and I'd be happy to take a few questions. Thank you.
आप प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं. प्रश्न पूछने से पहले मैं आपकी तरफ इशारा करूंगा, तो उसके बाद आप अपना प्रश्न आगे रखें. इधर से शुरू करते हैं, प्लीज़.
सर नमस्कार, मेरा नाम मनीष झा है, मैं TV9 से हूँ. अभी आपने भी बताया कि दोनों लीडर ने ग्लोबल इश्यूज़ पर डिस्कस किया है, और प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने भी यूक्रेन और गज़ा की बात कही थी, जर्मन चांसलर ने ईरान के बारे में कहा. तो अगर आप बता सकें कि ईरान और ग्रीनलैंड को लेकर दोनों लीडर के बीच में क्या बातचीत हुई, कितना कुछ आप उस पर शेयर कर सकते हैं. और जो दूसरा कि आपने भी बताया कि डिफेंस कॉपरेशन को लेकर दोनों देशों में MOU भी हुए हैं, काफ़ी अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी हुई है. तो थोड़ा अगर आप उसका डिटेल दे सकें कि क्या सबमरीन को लेकर दोनों देशों में सहमति बन गई है जॉइंट प्रोडक्शन को लेकर. थैंक यू.
प्लीज़ प्रणय.
फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी प्रणय उपाध्याय, इंडिया टुडे आज तक से. बेबी अरीहा का मामला बहुत समय से भारत और जर्मनी के बीच में चर्चा में चल रहा है, तो अगर आप बता सकें क्या प्रधानमंत्री ने इस मुद्दे को जर्मन चांसलर के साथ उठाया था और उस पर क्या आश्वासन मिल पाया है. और इसके अलावा माइग्रेशन और मोबिलिटी एग्रीमेंट को लेकर क्या नेक्स्ट फेज़ को लेकर कोई चर्चा हुई है, जिसमें हम जो वीज़ाज़ हैं उसको और कैसे लिबरल कर सकते हैं और क्या चीज़ें इंश्योर की जा सकती हैं ताकि भारतीय प्रोफेशनल लीगल तरीके से जर्मनी और जा सकें.
आदित्य.
Foreign Secretary Aditya Raj Kaul from NDTV. I want to ask about Chancellor Merz's statement about the security policy and the defense production. He says that this needs to increase between India and Germany, but he also said that this is to decrease the dependence of India on Russia. How do you react to that statement, and particularly on the submarine that perhaps is being clinched very soon between India and Germany? Secondly, on the visa issue, the free transit facility that has been announced, this clearly means that the travelers will be obviously inside the airport and cannot exit, but this is coming as a big relief. So how beneficial will this be for the Indian travelers? Thank you very much.
You have a question there?
सर हम अप्रिशिएट करते हैं कि भारत के जो व्यापारी हैं ट्रेड के बारे में आप इतना इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं. साथ साथ मेरी रजूआत है, मैं TV18 नेटवर्क से हूँ, गीता मेहता मेरा नाम है. हम चाहते हैं कि लोगों की संवेदनाओं के प्रति भी आप ज़्यादा टेक केयर करें. मैं वही सवाल फिर से दोहराना चाहूँगी अरीहा शाह के बारे में. सर अरीहा शाह के जो पेरेंट्स हैं वो गुजरात ओरिजिन से हैं. 4 साल से वो बच्ची अनाथालय में पल रही हैं. जो जर्मन हॉस्पिटल था उन्हें एब्यूजिंग का आरोप लगाया था, जो बाद में कोर्ट में फेक साबित हुआ है. इवन मेडिकल टेस्ट में भी फेक साबित हुआ है। एक एमपी है राज्यसभा के, उन्होंने भी इसके बारे में रजूआत की है। तो अगर ये चांसलर यहाँ पे आए हैं तो इसके बारे में श्रीमान जयशंकर जी बात करेंगे, क्योंकि श्रीमान जयशंकर को लेटर लिखा गया है और गुजरात ओरिजिन से ये दंपति हैं जो काफ़ी पीड़ित हैं और उनकी जो बच्ची है वो भी उसी अवस्था में होगी। तो वो सवाल पूरे टीवी 18 नेटवर्क की तरफ से हमारे लिए बहुत प्रायोरिटी है, क्योंकि ये संवेदनाओं की बात है। थैंक यू।
Yes, question.
Good afternoon. I am Chintan Acharya from Divya Bhaskar.
नमस्कार, मैं केतन जोशी CNBC आवाज़ से। सर, अभी जो आपने 27 MOU की बात की, तो अगर उनकी साइज़ आप बता पाए। दूसरी ओर ये कितना महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि एक तरफ US की डील होते होते अटक जाती है और अभी उनके एम्बेसडर ने एक स्टेटमेंट भी दिया कि हम कल से इसके ऊपर और बात करने वाले हैं। तो क्या इसको जोड़कर भी अगर आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? एक तरफ US डील अटकी है, दूसरी तरफ जर्मनी के 27 MOU, कितने मायने?
So we can take these questions and come back.
Okay. तो मेरे विचार में सबसे पहले आप में से कई मित्रों ने बेबी अरिहा का जो मामला है उसके बारे में प्रश्न पूछे हैं और जाहिर है कि ये एक बहुत ही संवेदनशील विषय है। इसको लेके काफ़ी समय से जर्मन सरकार के साथ जर्मनी की जितनी भी अथॉरिटीज़ हैं यहाँ दिल्ली में उनके राजदूतावास के साथ और बर्लिन में जर्मन सरकार के साथ और उनकी सभी जो एजेंसीज़ हैं जो इससे जुड़ी हुई हैं उनके साथ हमारी बातचीत चल रही है। जैसा कि आपको ध्यान है, ये मामला एक तरह से एक समय पे लीगल मामला था, लेकिन हमारा मानना है कि ये मामला अंततः एक ह्यूमैनिटेरियन इश्यूज़ को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये इस तरह से इसको अप्रोच किया जाना चाहिए। जो परिवार की व्यथा है, जो उनकी मुश्किलें हैं, मैं ये तो नहीं कह सकता कि हम उनको समझते हैं, क्योंकि सिर्फ वही उसको अच्छी तरह से समझ सकते हैं, लेकिन हमें पूरी जानकारी है इसके बारे में और हर समय पे जितना हमसे बन पड़ रहा है हम उनकी मदद करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ये भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि बेबी अरिहा को जितनी उसकी परवरिश एक तरह से एक भारतीय माहौल में हो सके, चाहे वो भारतीय लोगों के साथ उठना बैठना हो, भारतीय त्यौहार जो वहाँ जर्मनी में मनाए जा रहे हों वहाँ पे वो आके उनमें भाग ले सके और उसे हिंदी सीखने का इंतज़ाम करना, इन सभी चीज़ों पे हमारी कोशिश चल रही है। कुछ और चीज़ों को लेके भी अभी हाल ही में हमने कोशिश की है। मैं अभी इस समय पे उसमें ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाना चाहता, लेकिन आप सबको ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूँ कि हम जर्मन सरकार के साथ प्रतिबद्ध हैं इसको पूरी तरह से और हर स्टेज पे इसके बारे में बात करने का। और हाँ, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी इसके बारे में चांसलर मर्ज से इस चीज़ का जिक्र किया। तो हम इसके साथ इस इशू को लेके जर्मन सरकार के साथ इसको फॉलो अप करते रहेंगे और हमेशा हर कदम पे हम परिवार के साथ रहेंगे। ये आप मान के चलिए कि हम इस इशू को, जो हमारे बाकी इश्यूज़ हैं, बाकी मुद्दे हैं जो जर्मनी के साथ हमारे रिश्ते हैं, उनसे अलग हट के नहीं देखते। ये इसकी भी उतनी ही प्रायोरिटी है जितनी बाकी इश्यूज़ की प्रायोरिटी है। और मेरे साथी बैठे हुए हैं एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी यूरोप, जो काफ़ी फ्रीक्वेंटली इनकी परिवार से बात होती है और जब भी उनका यहाँ पे आना होता है उनसे मुलाकात होती है और जो कुछ हम कर सकते हैं हम अपनी तरफ से करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और आपको समय समय पे हम अपडेट करते रहेंगे इसके बारे में। थिंक कुछ आप में से कुछ मित्रों ने डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन और जर्मनी के साथ जो सबमरीन को लेके बातचीत चल रही है, उसके बारे में कुछ सवाल उठाए हैं। तो देखिए, जहाँ तक डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन का संबंध है, पिछले कुछ सालों में हमने देखा है कि जो जर्मनी की नीतियां हैं डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन को लेके, उनमें भारत को लेके साफ बदलाव देखने में आया है। जो पहले स्थिति थी जहाँ पे जो निर्यात के लिए क्लियरेंसेस वगैरह चाहिए होती थी, जिनमें बहुत समय लगता था, या वो निर्यात के लिए जो क्लियरेंसेस चाहिए होती थी वो मिलती नहीं थी आसानी से, वो हमने देखा है कि वो अब काफ़ी जल्दी, काफ़ी तेज़ी से होने लगी हैं, और अब जो बैकलॉग है वो करीब करीब पूरी तरह से क्लियर हो गया है। और एक तरह से आपने सबमरीन को लेके जो सवाल उठाया, आई थिंक आदित्य, यू हैड आल्सो रेज दिस पॉइंट अबाउट द सबमरीन डील. As you are probably aware, there are technical, financial, commercial discussions that are involved in a deal of this kind. These discussions are continuing. All I can say is that the discussions have maintained a positive momentum, but at this point in time, since these have not concluded, it's difficult for me to say where we are exactly. I think the Defense Ministry would have a better sense of that, but what I can say is that the discussions are proceeding positively, and we hope to see a positive outcome. You also mentioned about the security policy related remarks that the German Chancellor had made, and some other related remarks on the decrease in our sourcing from other sources. I think insofar as the security policy aspect is concerned, he was pointing to what I was talking about earlier, which is the change in the approach that Germany has taken with regard to defense and security policy insofar as India is concerned. But look, our approach on defense sourcing is driven entirely by our national interests. There are a lot of factors involved in that, and it is certainly not ideological. It is entirely driven by our interests. So I would not say that sourcing from one is linked to sourcing from the other. We have a process in place that sets the requirements that we have at any given time, and we look at where in the world, if we are going to source it from outside, if we are not going to manufacture it domestically, then where can we source it from in the most convenient manner. But I don't think one is influenced by the other. A number of questions I think were posed related to migration, mobility, and this transit visa related issue. Now on migration and mobility, as I said, we've seen very positive developments in the last few years. There is a migration and mobility partnership agreement between India and Germany. As a result of that, we've seen a healthy flow of skilled individuals from India to Germany, students from here. And even during the course of the discussions today, the German Chancellor pointed to specific areas such as caregivers and nurses, in which there is a very large demand in Germany. So the outlook on that is very good. And I referred in my earlier remarks to the fact that this is important enough now for German authorities to consider dedicated institutional arrangements, and we will be discussing those issues with them. On the visa transit related issue, I believe that this is something the German government and German authorities have been paying a considerable amount of attention to recently. And I can tell you that there is, in principle, a decision to exempt Indian nationals from the need for a separate transit visa for travel to other countries from Germany. But I do want to use this opportunity to inform all of you, and through all of you to those who are listening to this or will read about this, that this is something that is in progress. So we should wait for the paperwork in this regard to be completed, for the official announcement to be made, because there are a certain number of internal legal and other processes in Germany that are involved. But we do believe that this decision has in principle been taken, and once it is implemented, it will considerably ease and facilitate the travel of our people and promote people-to-people contact. केतन जी, आपका सवाल था जो 27 MOU हैं उनको लेके, और जो US एम्बेसडर ने बात की है डील के बारे में, तो US एम्बेसडर ने जो कहा है मुझे अभी देखने का मौका नहीं मिला है क्योंकि मैं सवेरे से यहाँ पे हूँ, लेकिन जो ये 27 MOU हैं ये सभी काफ़ी इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं, अलग अलग एरियाज़ में हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी के एरिया में है, स्किलिंग के एरिया में है, ट्रेड के एरिया में है, क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स के एरियाज़ में है। और एक तरह से अगर हम अपनी सारी अर्थव्यवस्था को देखें तो ये बहुत ही एक तरह से सिग्निफिकेंट डेवलपमेंट है, मेरा मानना है। तो इनका एज सच US डील से कोई लेना देना है नहीं, ये दो अलग अलग रिलेशनशिप्स हैं, और हमें दोनों रिलेशनशिप्स में देखना पड़ेगा कि हम दोनों अपने जो सहयोगी देश हैं उनके साथ क्या क्या कर सकते हैं। हाँ, look, on Iran and Greenland, these are, I mean, I won't be able to go into the details of what the two leaders discussed, but insofar as the situation in Iran is concerned, I mean, it's a country that we have a very close relationship with, so we are watching the developments that are taking place there, the disturbances that one can see on the streets over there. We have a significant community of expatriate Indians and also students from India in Iran. Our embassy, despite the restrictions that are in place on information, etc., has been able to reach out to the student community, and has managed to find out that they are all good, they are doing well, and they have not faced any difficulties thus far. We have advised all of our compatriots there to rest in place, to not venture out or find themselves in the middle of the disturbances that are going on, and we continue to watch the situation very, very carefully. And on Greenland, I think we have as much information as you have, and we are continuing to watch these developments related to that. Thank you.
We have more questions. A question here first.
Sir, I'm Chintan Acharya from Dainik Bhaskar, Divya Bhaskar group. I would like to ask you that free trade agreement that is going to be signed between EU and India, is it going to ease the burden on India post-tariff regime by US, and India is seeking other markets across the globe? And if so, how much of burden would be decreased from India post this FTA?
We have a question there behind. Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir. This is Aparna Khun from Akashvani News. So you just mentioned about the increasing cooperation between the two countries with respect to green hydrogen and green mobility. And you also mentioned regarding the Surat and Ahmedabad project, I guess. So can you please elaborate on that? And because Gujarat being the emerging hub of green hydrogen and Germany being one of the largest producer of green hydrogen in the world, so how will it benefit to India and particularly Gujarat? And
Any more questions?
Sir, oh, there's a question there, sir.
सर मेरा नाम ब्रिजेश है, मैं आज तक से हूँ। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जर्मन चांसलर ने भी अपने प्री स्टेटमेंट में कहा था कि भारतीय छात्रों का एक बड़ा समूह जर्मनी में पढ़ता है और पिछले महीने ही दिसंबर महीने में वीज़ा इश्यूज़ और फीस को लेकर छात्रों को निकालने की एक बात हुई थी जर्मनी में। क्या उस पर कोई बातचीत हुई और क्या उसमें कोई रिलैक्सेशंस मिलने वाले हैं भारतीय छात्रों को? एक बड़ा हिस्सा वहाँ पे पढ़ाई करता है और जर्मन चांसलर कह रहे थे कि वहाँ पे उनको ज़रूरत भी है भारतीय छात्रों की जॉब के लिए भी, तो क्या उस पर कुछ निकला है?
Sir, we can take these questions.
Okay. So, Chetan, your question on the India-EU FTA, and I think you are trying to draw some implications for our discussions that are also on with the US. Again, these two stand on their own. It is a fact that insofar as the India-EU FTA is concerned, this is an agreement that has been under discussion for quite a long time. But there is no doubt that on account of developments in recent years, the urgency in concluding this FTA has increased. And last year in February, when the EU College of Commissioners paid an unprecedented visit to India, a political decision was taken at the highest level to expedite the conclusion of this FTA. Since then, the two sides have conducted several rounds of intense negotiations. I believe at least 6 physical negotiation rounds have been held, and a very large number of virtual negotiating rounds have been held. As a result of that, there is a considerable amount of progress that has been made. Certainly, this is an effort by us to look at expanding our markets, even as markets elsewhere come under pressure. The EU is a very large trading partner for India, but there is much more potential. As I said, with Germany alone, we have $50 billion in trade, which is 1/4 of our total trade with the EU. But as both the Prime Minister and the German Chancellor said, there is scope for doing much, much more. So we believe that the India-EU FTA will serve that purpose. The discussions with the US as well, they are continuing to take place. We remain engaged with them, but there is no real connection between the two. They are being taken forward as independent enterprises. Aparna, your question on the initiatives related to green hydrogen, the green and sustainable development partnership between India and Germany. As I pointed out earlier also, this is a flagship area of our cooperation, and the GSDP has in fact contributed to some
We'll try to establish the connection again. All right, like I said, so this was in fact India's External Affairs special briefing on German Chancellor's visit to India. Vikram Misri, Secretary MEA, said visit provides opportunity to take stock of the partnership and set ambitious agenda and target for future. He spoke about the schedule also, including meeting Prime Minister Modi. He said discussion primarily focused on changing world order instability that global order is facing. Important for India and Germany to take relationship to new level, particular emphasis on India-EU FTA. High point in relationship is people-to-people relationship. Growing Indian expatriate community in Germany and number has grown significantly. So Chancellor expressed heartiest welcome to expatriates. He said two leaders also addressed CEOs forum. Chancellor emphasized that not a coincidence that India being the first in Asia that he has visited. Time important to strengthen resilience. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he said in his remarks, talked about trade growth, need to draw a vision for taking this development forward between India and Germany. Also referred to trend we are seeing on technology. He spoke about agreements to semiconductors, critical minerals, etc. And PM also welcomed the ongoing cooperation between countries on green hydrogen. He also said that, talked about need to expand defense cooperation, also spoke about space cooperation, science and technology, area of long-standing relationship. So Germany increasingly emerging as preferred destination for education. Overall, he said very outcome-rich visit, and he spoke about the MOUs also. 19 MOUs, he said, and outcomes signed 27 in total in this visit. And he also said that Chancellor Friedrich Merz will tomorrow travel to Bengaluru. He gave the itinerary also. He also gave the details of the MOUs that have been signed between India and Germany. So this is primarily the gist of what Secretary MEA said on the visit of German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, and we will have a detailed story soon. And in fact, we have established the connection and we'll go to the MEA press conference special briefing again.
फिजिकल क्लासेस नहीं हो रही हैं, सारा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है. तो अगर डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है तो उसके चलते जो स्टूडेंट्स की वहाँ पे डिमांड थी वीज़ा एक्सटेंशन की, उसको लेके कुछ सवाल उठे, तो जर्मन अथॉरिटीज़ ने उसको एग्जामिन करना चाहा. पर चूंकि कोई आवश्यकता नहीं थी स्टूडेंट्स के वहाँ पे होने की इस प्रोग्राम में भाग लेने के लिए, क्योंकि ये डिस्टेंस लर्निंग प्रोग्राम है जो वो भारत से भी कर सकते थे, तो वीज़ाज़ को रिवोक करके उनको डिपोर्टेशन ऑर्डर्स दिए गए. कई स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे थे जिनको डिपोर्टेशन ऑर्डर्स मिले जिन्होंने अपना कोर्स पूरा कर लिया था, तो उनको वैसे भी वापस आना था. लेकिन जो बाकी स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके लिए जो भी मुश्किल हो रही है, उस सिलसिले में हम जर्मन अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ हमारी बातचीत चल रही है और हम वहाँ पे उनकी मदद करने की कोशिश करेंगे.
One last question. Yes.
I am Vivek Mehta from Gujarat Samachar. सब यूएस के टैरिफ के बाद 1 जनवरी से ईयू कंट्रीज ने कार्बन बॉर्डर एडजस्टमेंट मैकेनिज्म के अंडर इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी कुछ बढ़ा दी है या टैक्स बढ़ा दिए, तो उसकी वजह से हमारी एक्सपोर्ट कम हो रही है. एक तरफ यूएसए में एक्सपोर्ट कम हो रही है, दूसरी तरफ ईयू कंट्रीज में एक्सपोर्ट कम हो रही, तो आप इसको कैसे टैकल करेंगे?
विवेक जी, देखिए, ये जो चर्चा चल रही है ये चांसलर मर्ज के भारत यात्रा को लेके है, लेकिन आपके जो प्रश्न हैं वो सही हैं. जहाँ तक मेरे विचार में आपने जो सीबैम का प्रश्न जो उठाया है, सीबैम को लेके अभी भारत पे कुछ भी इम्पोज नहीं किया जा रहा है. ये एक इशू है जो इंडिया ईयू एफटीए के तहत अभी इसके ऊपर बातचीत चल रही है, और हमारी पूरी कोशिश है कि जो भी हमारे इंटरेस्ट हैं उन पे हम ध्यान देंगे जब ये पूरा अग्रीमेंट हो जाएगा. अभी अग्रीमेंट पूरा हुआ नहीं है, सीबैम इसके तहत डिस्कस हो रहा है, एंड वी विल टेक केयर टू प्रोटेक्ट आवर इंटरेस्ट अंडर दिस पर्टिकुलर अग्रीमेंट.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press conference. Thank you very much for your presence.